Okay, so my eyebrows are already done. If you want to see my updated eyebrow routine, I will link it up here in the card, so you can go and watch that. But now I'm going to get started on my foundation routine, and my foundation routine has changed just a little bit. I use a few different products now. The products that I've been using has helped to keep my skin matte all day. It still looks flawless. It doesn't look cakey. So I'm going to show you guys what I've been using. So for primers, and yes, I said primers plural because I use 2 different primers. So the first one you've seen on my channel before is the NYX Pore Filler. So I like this primer because it does what it says. It's a pore filler. It's a pore filling primer. So I put this like in my T-zone area where I have the most pores, and it just creates like a nice smooth base for my foundation to lay on. And yeah, I really like this primer. I'm almost out of it. I need to get a new one, but this is what I use in my T-zone area. And as far as oil control, I have to use some type of mattifying primer because my skin is just so oily. So I've been using the Makeup Forever Step 1 mattifying primer. I love this primer so much. The only thing about this primer, you have to really moisturize your skin before you put it on, because if your skin is dry and you put this primer on, it's gonna make your skin look even more dry. So even though I have oily skin, I make sure to moisturize my face before I put on this primer. So yeah, I put this one mainly just like in my forehead area, a little bit on my nose. That's where I'm the most oily. And yeah, it's a really good primer. This is a small little travel size version. It is on the pricier side, but I feel like you should really invest your money into your base. So like your foundation, your primers, those should be the most expensive things in your makeup kit, because you want a really good foundation. You want a really good base. If your base is off, then the rest of your face is going to be off. So yeah, Makeup Forever Step 1 mattifying primer. Next thing that I've been doing, I've been concealing my acne scars. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I have like some leftover acne scarring, so I like to conceal this before I put my foundation on. The concealer that I've been using is the Bare Minerals Correcting Concealer. Very similar to the MAC Studio Fix Concealer. And I have mine in the shade Dark 2. So what I do, I already have some on. I don't know if you guys can tell, but I already kind of started covering up my acne scars. I take a little brush and I just go over the areas where I have acne scarring. And I like to do this before foundation because it causes me to use less foundation. So instead of doing like layers and layers of foundation, I just do like 1 layer of foundation and conceal my acne scars under the foundation. Okay, so another new thing that I've been doing is to set my primer and the little concealer I put on my face with a powder before I go on with my foundation. I'm just going to take, this is actually Laura Mercier powder. I know you guys are used to seeing my Airspun powder in here, but this is actually Laura Mercier powder this time. So I'm just taking a little bit of this powder and I'm just going to set where I put the concealer. And I've seen Alyssa Forever do this before, and her makeup always looks bomb, so I tried it out for myself, and it really does help your foundation stay on longer. So if you have oily skin, I would highly recommend doing this. I would use a translucent powder though. I wouldn't use like a pressed powder. And I would also use one that's like really finely milled, like the Laura Mercier, or what's another like really finely milled powder, or even Airspun powder. You can use Airspun powder for this too, but it really does help my skin stay matte throughout the day. So now that that's done, you can move on to foundation. The foundation that I've been using lately is the Makeup Forever Matte Velvet Foundation. I like this foundation because it's mattifying. It is kind of thick. It is really full coverage, which is what I like in a foundation. I like my foundation to be matte, full coverage, and long wearing, and this foundation does so. Yeah, I'm in the shade, what color is this? 70. Yes, so I've been using the foundation and I use a really small amount. I'm going to take my little CD disc. This is really ghetto, but this is what I use to mix my foundation on. I'm going to try to show you how much I use. About that much. You see, it's very thick. And I like to mix this foundation with another one because this color is like a little bit, just like the taddest bit too warm for me at the moment. If I get a little bit more tan in the summertime, this would probably match me perfectly, but right now it's a little bit too too like warm for me. So I like to mix in my NYX Total Control drop foundation, and this also helps to make the foundation a little bit more thinner, because like I said, the foundation is really thick, and I like the NYX foundation for the color. It's like really yellow. So yeah, I mix in a few drops of this. So about that many drops of the NYX foundation. I'm just going to use a little like concealer brush to mix my little concoction together. My little concoction. Yeah, I'm always mixing makeup. Like I never just throw like one foundation or one concealer. I'm like a little mixologist when it comes to makeup. I'm gonna apply it on my skin just like this. Just making sure to evenly distribute the product first before we go in and blend it. And then to blend out my foundation, I'm going to use a foundation brush. Now sometimes I use a beauty blender, sometimes I use a brush, but today I'm going to use a foundation brush. This one is from eBay, I believe. I got it with a set of brushes. It was really cheap, but any like flat top foundation brush will work. And when I blend out my foundation, I like to use tapping motions. I don't like to really, you know, buff the product into my skin, because I do have a layer of concealer and powder down underneath this foundation, so I don't want to like start mixing, you know, my foundation together, and just it's going to disturb the product that's underneath. So I'll just really dab the foundation into my skin. And this Makeup Forever foundation does dry pretty quick, so you do have to work pretty fast with it. Foundation is on. Looking pretty good. I love this foundation. Like, it just makes my skin look so good. Now we're going to go on to concealer, and I use two different concealers. The first one I'm going to use is my NYX HD concealer. I like this concealer for the color. I like this color. It's really brightening, but also the formula. It's really full coverage. So I'm putting that underneath my eye, my top lip, a little bit on my chin, and then like the bridge of my nose. And then I like to mix in a little bit of my Bare Minerals Bare Skin Concealer. I like this concealer for the formula. Like, this concealer blends so nicely. I also like the color. The color is like a really nice yellow undertone. So I'm putting this over top of the NYX one. I always use a sponge to blend out my concealer. I don't know, I just feel like you get a really nice airbrush finish when you use a sponge. And whatever is left on my sponge, I put it on my forehead, because I don't really like to highlight my forehead, so I just take whatever's left on the sponge. And then I like to go back in with my foundation brush to blend out the edges of the concealer, so everything looks nice and seamless and blended. So now I'm going to quickly set everything with my Laura Mercier translucent powder before it starts to crease. So I'm going to make sure to blend out my under eye one more time, make sure there's no creases. Quickly set. Okay, so now I'm going to set I'm going to set the rest of my face. And this Makeup Forever foundation does dry down to like a powdery matte finish, but I still like to set it with a powder just to be safe. So I'm going to use my NYX No Filter powder, shade number 11 Golden. So it's just like a skin tone color, and it's also going to bring some color back into my face, because the Laura Mercier powder can make you look kind of ashy sometimes. So you got to add the color back into your face. So I'm just going to press this all over my skin. I'm going to go in with my bronzer. I'm going to use another NYX No Filter powder. This one's in the shade 14 Mahogany, and I'm just going to use this to kind of bronze and contour my face. And I'm going to use like a little angled blush brush to do this. And then because I don't contour my nose, I just take my bronzer and just like run it down both sides of my nose, just so my nose has like a little bit of color. I'm kind of sloppy with my bronzer application so it gets everywhere. I like to clean it up with a little small brush. This is a e.l.f. mineral powder brush, so I'm just kind of making it more, you know, kind of carving it out right here in the cheekbones, making it more structured. Now I'm going to go on with another blush. This one is technically a bronzer. I use it in like all of my videos. It's the NYX Ombre blush in the color Nude to me. And it's called Ombre blush, but the shade is like really bronzy, so it's more like a bronzer for my skin tone. So that's what it looks like. And I like to put this one like right here on top of the bronzer, but like towards the back of my face. Well, not the back of my face, like the back of my cheek area. I like this one because it's kind of shimmery, so it's like a highlighting blush bronzer, if you want to call it. But I just like the color of it. So I put this one pretty much in all the same places that I put the previous bronzer. Sometimes I bring my bronzer up too far in like my under eye area, so I'm gonna take some powder, my face powder, and just kind of make sure the bronzer isn't coming too close to my under eye area because I still want to keep that area bright. Now we're gonna move on to highlighting, and I'm gonna use two different ones. They're both by MAC. This one is called Oh Darling. It was limited edition, but I think they brought it back out again. I think it's permanent. I'm not sure though, but if you go to your local MAC store and you see this, definitely pick it up. It's like the most perfect, like goldeny, like bronze highlight. So I'm gonna use this one on my Morphe M510 brush. This one kind of has more like a peachy, not peachy, but like a pinky golden undertone. So I'm going to put this right over top of the Oh Darling. I've been really into like peachy toned blushes. This one is from NYX. It's like in a little container. I got this for gratis a while ago when I was working there, but it's one of the ombre blushes. It's called Strickly Chic. And it's just like a nice peachy, like really pretty, like peachy blush. I'm gonna apply this on the apples of my cheeks. And blend it back towards my bronzer. I also apply blush on my nose. I don't know why, I just don't like the look of it. And my chin. I'm also going to take the same highlighter, Oh Darling, and I'm going to use that to highlight my brow bone and also my inner corners. To set my face and to get rid of like the powdery look, I'm going to take my Badescu Rose Water Spray. And before I do this, I'm going to put on my bonnet because I'm not trying to get my hair wet. No. Finish up the eyes, I'm just going to add a few coats of my favorite mascara. This is the Maybelline Big Shots. I'm going to add this to my top and bottom lashes. So now I'm going to finish up this look with my favorite nude lip combo that I've been wearing a lot lately. So first I'm going to line my lips with Cork Lip Liner by MAC. I'm going to line my lips and also kind of fill them in a little bit. Now I'm gonna take my Naturally Transform lipstick, also by MAC, and put that right in the center. So this is a finished look right here. I hope you guys really enjoyed the video. If you did, don't forget to like this video, give me a thumbs up. Also subscribe to my channel if you aren't already. Leave some comments down below what other videos you guys want to see from me. Yeah, I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye.